Wonder where Leah Remini dredges up her fraudulent stories for her anti-religious hate show? Look no further than a chronically unemployed blogger named Tony Ortega. Compulsive liar, admitted hoax artist, and peddler of fake news. Remini's personal advisor of her anti-religious hate gig. As editor of The Village Voice, Ortega pimped its cash cow, Backpage.com, an online ad site considered the most despicable in the world. This site facilitated the biggest prostitution operation on the internet, especially in the trafficking of children. Under Ortega's watch, his Backpage cohorts didn't just help traffickers sell children for sex, they composed their ads to hide it all from law enforcement.
A major breakthrough with the Senate finding evidence that the executives of Backpage.com were not only aware that minors were being sold for sex through ads on the site, but actually went to lengths to hide it.
The Senate report found that Backpage wasn't just hosting ads, it was actively editing them.
By deleting words, phrases, and images indicative of criminality, including child sex trafficking.
And Ortega doesn't deny that children were sold on Backpage. One of Backpage's many victims was sold for 2 years, starting at the age of 15, and raped over 1,000 times. When another tried to escape, her pimp broke her jaw and ribs. And after a 13-year-old sex slave sold on Backpage told her pimp she couldn't bear another rape, he kicked her down a stairwell. For 6 years, Ortega lived off the money from this child's sex slavery, while obsessively hate-blogging the Church of Scientology, the very antithesis of Backpage.com and a religion he knows nothing about. Meanwhile, the church and others relentlessly protested Backpage.com as a cesspool of sexual exploitation, exposing Ortega as its chief pimp, viciously defending his paper's lucrative sex-for-sale racket. Feeling the heat, his bosses cut a secret deal with Ortega to keep his mouth shut. A payoff, as Ortega admitted to a former confidant of Leah Remini's.
He told me that, Scientology had been exposing that, and he said the problem is that Scientology was more accurate than anybody thought, and that, in fact, The Village Voice was almost exclusively financed by that human trafficking operation, and that there were profits beyond that. And so the owners, now that Scientology was exposing it and law enforcement was investigating it, decided they had to get rid of Tony Ortega because he was just obsessed with Scientology and he was keeping their focus on him and their operation, so they needed to get rid of him.
After Ortega was paid off and dumped, the false and defamatory stories in the Village Voice against the church stopped. Later, the state of California arrested Ortega's bosses, the same men Ortega had praised as smart enough to start Backpage.com. Now, instead of pimping for the Village Voice, Tony Ortega is pimping for Leah Remini, sitting in restaurants, spewing out the false and defamatory tales Remini peddles on cable TV. This is Leah Remini's advisor. This is who Leah Remini stands with. Tony Ortega, Pimp.